Hey guys, what's up? This is me, Correspondence King, and today in my vlog videos, I am going to be starting a new series called The Most Instructive Chess Games Ever. And this is game 1, and it was played between Jose Raul Capablanca and Tartakover as black. So, Capablanca opens up with 1d4. Tartakover comes with e6, knight f3, and f5. So with this f5 push, we are getting into the Dutch defense. After pawn c4, knight f6, bishop g5, bishop e7, knight c3, castles e3, b6. Now notice that the e4 square is not under black's control. Well, it's completely under black's control. So what black is going to try and do is bring out his bishop and then just put a knight there. You'll see that. After bishop d3 and bishop b7, you can see by my drawn arrows that square is completely controlled by black, and black can easily put a piece on that square and would love to ensure that it stays there. And black has wrested control of the e5 square with the e4 square with the use of the bishop, knight, and pawn. After castles in queen e8, queen e8 is a move that looks to bring the queen around on the king side for an attack. After queen e2 and knight e4, like I said, the bishop is supporting the strong knight, and the bishop on g5 is attacked, and it's put a question to: is it gonna move back, or is the white player gonna play h4, or is he gonna play bishop f4, or is he gonna take? Okay, never. Sorry about that. So Capablanca just takes after, and here Tartakover, I don't know why he decided not to keep his knight on e4, but I would have kept it there. But Tartakover plays knight takes c3 because the queen is hanging. So if you look at the bishop, there's no immediate threat to the queen, so whereas the queen's hit here. So now, right now, if you grab the rook, you'll lose your queen, and plus it's check, so that the bishop drops. So after b takes c3 and queen takes e7, we have the move a4, which just rests control of the b5 square. Now notice that black is kind of cramped on the king side. Due to this f5 push, he can easily move his rook up or over. So he's got no problem for that. On the king side, he's got enough play there. But the problem is on the queen side. So white wants to make black suffer even more by playing a4, because black normally plays a6 and then c6 and then plays b5 to just crack open the position on the queen side. That's hard coming because of a4. So here black played blue, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, and finally the knight is developed on move 13. After rook fb1, now you might ask me what rook fb1 does. Rook fb1 takes on a semi-open file, and some grandmaster made a comment. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but some grandmaster made a comment that you should play a5 and then just try to pry open the 7th rank. I don't know. I don't think that's really accurate. Yeah, after rook a e8, queen to h3. Queen h3 is a dubious move. It actually allows rook f6 and then rook h6. But here, Capablanca came up with an awesome move f4. And I'll show you the variation. In case you play something, I'll show you what f4 does. It controls e5 and it controls some nice squares. And I'll show you what happens. This is one variation, f4. No, hold on, f4. Instead of f4, If you play bishop c2, you get hit with rook h6, and after queen f3, pawn to g5 can be played, and this kind of starts a strong attack on the king side. And the black king isn't that weak. I mean, he's got nice pawn cover. The rook can slide over. Maybe this pawn could come forward. I don't know. It looks very strong for black here. For knight a5, which I think is dubious because the knight isn't really doing much. It's attacking c4, but the bishop's not going to move because the bishop's like a sleeping piece. It's not doing anything except probably it's probably eyeing this diagonal, but this diagonal is clogged up, so he's not really doing much. This pawn is hanging. It's not hanging. But apart from knight to c6 and knight b7, it's not really a long range piece. But okay, after the move queen f3, pawn d6 is played, and so black decides that he's just gonna play e5 now, and these pawns have to move because they're gathering, they're taking up a lot of space, and he doesn't want that. So after rook e1 and queen d7, now black has just openly announced he's gonna play that. He's gonna play e5. So anticipating e5, white plays e4 and just stops the move. Just shuts it down. So e takes and queen takes, threatening checkmate. g6 blocks the diagonal. g3 supports the f4 pawn. King f8. And here, c5 is the recommended move by the computer, but there were no computers back then. After rook f7, h4, d5, c takes knight. And a couple of exchanges go off. From here, the position. Okay, hold on. This game is really deeply positional. I mean, there's no tactics and whatnot, so the game is kind of boring until this move. So you guys, if you want, think and try to find out the move if you can. If you can't, I'm sorry, you're not a grandmaster. Not everyone can be one. But the move played by Alekine was pawn h. Sorry, not Alekine. Capablanca was pawn to h5. Now this is the calamity. Now the rook entered the hostile camp, and after rook f6, h6, h6, and rook f1, rook h1, white plays logically to utilize his advantage on the king side, and very properly does not concern himself with the weakness of the queen side. Black, on the other hand, makes a defensive move, which he probably shouldn't have done with king f8. This is not necessary. After rook h7 and rook c6, pawn to g4, anxious nature might have moved the king towards the queen side, but Capablanca adheres to the principle of aggression that governs rook endings. So after knight c4 and g5, Capablanca gives his opponent the opportunity of winning a pawn, but Capablanca has confidence in the passed pawn which he gets. So after knight e3, king f3, knight f5, bishop takes, pawn takes, king g3. Okay, this is decisive. White's going to sack material in order to obtain the classical position on f6, pawn on d6, rook on h7, whereupon the black pawns tumble like ripe apples. It's really, after rook takes c3, it's extremely instructive to see how Capablanca is not concerned about material, because now g4, g6, rook takes. Okay, black is just grabbing material, but now it's certainly checkmate 1. So it's frequently available financing in such positions not to capture hostile pawns, but to pass them by in order to be protected in the rear against checks by the rook. King g8, rook g7 check, king h8, rook takes d7, rook e8, king takes f5, and again the simplest. King f7 would not yet have been disastrous because of rook d8, etc. But after now rook e4 and king f4, threats shown by the arrow. Rook f4 check, king e5, rook g4, g7. Now note that if you capture here, we'll see the variation. If you capture here, after rook takes d7, king takes d7, and king takes d5, this endgame is just lost, because I mean, your king d6, and the king is just probably outflanked. So instead we had rook takes a7. Hold on, we had king g, after this check we had king g8. And after rook takes a7, rook g1, king takes d5, rook c1, king d6, rook c2, d5, rook c1, rook c7, trying to win, rook a1, king c6, and d6. And here, Capablanca, the opponent, throws in the towel because he practically can't do anything. That thing's going to become a queen, and I don't think being a rook up is too hard for a GM to win. So Capablanca's management of the endgame gives the impression of being so natural that one easily forgets the difficulty of such precise planning. It's pretty psychological. So we're gonna meet next week, and I'm gonna make a vlog video every week if I can, and if I can't, then I'll do it every 2 weeks. But bye for now, and I'll meet you next time.